Mieszko I, California. 930. The 25th of May 992 was the ruler of the Polans from about 960 until his death. A member of the Piast dynasty, he was a son of Siemomysł, a child of Lestek, the father of Bolesław I the Brave, the father of Gunhild of Wenden with his wife Oda, and the grandfather of Cnut the Great, and the great-grandfather of Gunhilda of Denmark. Canute the Great's daughter and wife of Henry III, Holy Roman Emperor, the first Christian ruler of Poland. Mieszko I is considered the de facto creator of the Polish state. He continued the policy of both his father and grandfather, who were rulers of the pagan tribes located in the area of present-day Greater Poland, through both alliances and the use of military force. Mieszko extended ongoing Polish conquests and early in his reign subjugated Kuyavia and probably Gdansk, Pomerania and Masovia. For most of his reign, Mieszko I was involved in warfare for the control of western Pomerania, eventually conquering it up to the vicinity of the Lower Oder River. During the last years of his life, he fought the Bohemian state, winning Silesia and probably Lesser Poland. Mieszko I's marriage in 965 to the Czech Premysl Princess Dobrowa and his baptism in 966 put him and his country in the cultural sphere of Western Christianity. Apart from the great conquests accomplished during his reign, Mieszko I was renowned for his internal reforms, aimed at expanding and improving the so-called war monarchy system. According to existing sources, Mieszko I was a wise politician, a talented military leader, and a charismatic ruler. He successfully used diplomacy, concluding alliances, first with Bohemia, then Sweden, and the Holy Roman Empire. In foreign policy, he placed the interests of his country foremost, even entering into agreements with his former enemies. On his death, he left to his sons a country with greatly expanded territories and a well-established position in Europe. Mieszko I also enigmatically appeared as Dagoma in a papal document dating to about 1085, called Dagoma Iudex, which mentions a gift or dedication of Mieszko's land to the Pope. Date of birth. There is no certain information on Mieszko I's life before he took control over his lands. Only the Lesser Poland Chronicle gives the date of his birth as somewhere between the years 920 to 931. However, modern researchers don't recognize the chronicle as a reliable source. Several historians, on the basis of their investigations, postulated the date of Mieszko I's birth to have been between 922 to 945. The activity of the Duke in his final years of life puts the date of his birth closer to the latter year. Origin and meaning of his name. There are three major theories concerning the origin and meaning of Mieszko I's name. The most popular theory, proposed by Jan Długosz, explains that Mieszko is a diminutive of Mieczysław, a combination of two elements alexemes, miecz meaning sword and slaw meaning famous. Today, this theory is rejected by the majority of Polish historians, who consider the name Mieczysław to have been invented by Długosz to explain the origin of the name Mieszko. Today, we know that ancient Slavs never formed their names using either animal names or weapon names. Ancient Slavic names were abstract in nature. The same explanation rules out another theory about the origin of the name Mieszko, which links the name with the Polish word mieszko meaning bear, as no animal names were used to form honorable Polish names among Polish nobility. The second most popular theory about the origin and sense of Mieszko's name can be traced to the very old legend, firstly described by Gallus Anonymous, according to which Mieszko was blind during his first 7 years of life. The chronicler related this story as follows. At the time Prince Siemomysł urgently asked the elderly people of his country whether his son's blindness conveyed some miraculous meaning. They explained that this blindness meant that Poland was blind back then, but from now was going to be illuminated by Mieszko and elevated over the neighboring nations. This interpretation was a clear reference to the later baptism of the Duke. Poland was indeed blind before, knowing nothing about the true God of the principles of the Catholic faith, but thanks to the enlightenment of Mieszko, the country also had become enlightened, because when he adopted the faith, the Polish nation was saved from death and destruction. In addition, it is known that the Slavic word mzdec can be interpreted as having his eyes closed or be blind. Yet again, today it is almost certain that this legend was used as a metaphor, in allusion to the old Slavic pagan ceremony known as the postrzyny. During that ceremony, hair-cutting was performed to every boy at the age of 7. In that symbolic rite a child became a man. That explains that Mieszko wasn't blind in fact. He was blind only metaphorically. Besides, his son's name was also Mieszko, and it is hard to believe that he was also blind. In addition, as we know today, ancient Slavs used only abstract names among nobility. The third theory links the name of Mieszko with his other name, Dagoma, as it appeared in the document called Dagoma Iudex. We know this document only from a copy prepared by an anonymous monk who was not familiar with Polish language or Polish names. It is possible that while copying the document he made a mistake and wrote down Dagoma instead of Dagoma or even Dagomir. The name Dagomir is used to this day, and its construction is similar to other Polish names like, for example, Vladimir, Vlodzimirs, or Casimir, Casimirs. The evolution of the mir element to mierz is due to two separate developments. First, the regular change of the vowel I to E before R, and second, the modification of the nominative case by the vocative for certain names. It is debatable whether the name Mieszko is a nickname formed from the second part of the name *Dagomiec, since the merger in pronunciation of SZ with the devoiced RZ, which would appear in this position, is quite recent. The word mir can be translated as peace. However, some historians believe that the word Dagoma is a melding of two names, the Roman Catholic Dagard for Dagobert and the Slavic mi for Mieszko. The Latin word iudex would be used in the meaning of prince. Another interpretation is that Dagoma iudex is a corruption of ego Mieszko dux.